Did you know you can manage your anxiety through your gut? Yes, it's true. Just by improving the gut-brain axis or gut-brain connection is how you can overcome and improve anxiety and other emotions. The importance of the gut health is really something I'm passionate about, and I will share today a little bit more about how to improve actually your gut health. My name is Andrea Caprio and I'm glad to have you, and if you are interested to get more videos and see more of what I help you with, then you can subscribe to my channel to get notification of videos about gut health, about emotional eating, cravings and weight issues. Many years ago, I was really a very anxious person. Whatever was happening in my life, I felt anxious, no matter if it was an exam or maybe calling somebody, or also just before meeting my now husband for our first date. What it meant is I had a huge knot in my gut, in my stomach, right? It was big, and led obviously to some bowel movements that were not always in the right moment, right? And this is, of course, not so fun on your first date, right? Equally annoying, my stomach also seemed always to react to stress, right? Especially prolonged stress. I was always a stressed person, and that often led to a stress response, overeating, right? And equally, like I mentioned, the knot in my stomach, also this affected my anxiety. So eventually, after years, I learned that there is something that's called gut-brain connection, which I learned many years later. But I wonder, can you relate? Do you have maybe this knot in your stomach, or do you have lots of stress and you overeat and that leads to anxiety, right? If that's you, then maybe you have wondered if there is anything that is connected or so. And as I mentioned, the gut-brain axis is really something that's very important. What is more important to know is and to understand is that it's bidirectional. So equally that your gut health can influence your anxiety or your other emotions. The emotions and your brain can also affect how your gut is and what you eat, right? So it's very interesting because the intestinal bacteria sends actually the information to your brain, signals viral, the neural, endocrinal and immune cells. And therefore also digestive disorders such as IBS or so are actually a sign that your gut-brain axis is not functioning. And often also things like leaky gut can actually lead to immune response such as autoimmune conditions. So it's really important to understand that an unhealthy gut microbiome can disrupt your whole body, but of course also have a huge effect on your emotions and lead to things like depression, anxiety, or other disorders of your mind. Because of the nervous system being so complex, and as you maybe know, is actually serotonin is also produced in your gut. And that is very interesting because 90% of your serotonin actually is fabricated in your gut. And that often explains why when your gut microbiome is not healthy, it actually can lead to some imbalances and maybe we can feel less happy or more wired or whatever it is, right? And that of course can lead to the anxiety I mentioned earlier. So the second brain is actually another name for your gut. How interesting is that? And usually also the stress response actually inhibits our gut health, and that's usually the fight or flight response, because in the end we want to be in the relaxed state when we are eating and when we are digesting. So again, if we are too stressed while we are eating, often can lead then to some issues in your gut, which then leads to more anxiety, right? So we end up having a vicious cycle that can lead to more inflammation in our body, to an unhealthy immune response, to some emotions, and of course some response in your gut health. As the digestive system is just one of many systems that is affected, especially by chronic stress, right? My personal struggles with stress and gut health actually have led me to become a Master Certified Transformational Nutrition Coach, and part of it and additional studies have led me to have 2 digestive specializations because I'm so passionate about helping people to improve their gut health. And with that, of course, improve many other issues such as anxiety, such as weight issues, immune responses, inflammation, and so much more. It's really important to understand that the gut health is the basis of all health. And I want now to show with you how to repair and optimize your gut-brain axis so you can feel less anxious. But before doing that, I just want to remind you again that please check out in the description for more resources, and also please feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see similar videos from me. Now let's dive in on how to repair and optimize the gut-brain axis, helping you to overcome your anxiety. So first of all, rest, relax, and sleep is probably my number one, right? So just by making sure that you take time to rest and sleep enough is what helps you to improve your gut health, and with that improve your anxiety. And as I mentioned, it's always a bi-directional thing. So you want definitely to opt for your ideally 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I usually really recommend 8 hours and plus, because that is really what the body needs to help also digest and help the digestion and just facilitate that process to allow your gut to rest enough so it can really be in top health, right? That's really important. So you might want to work on your sleep routine. The next thing is to eat a whole foods diet. Now, if you are eating predominantly processed foods or a lot of processed foods, that actually affects your gut health in a quite drastic way. First of all, you're not getting the nutrients you need, because usually processed foods have not the nutrient balance from that you have in whole foods. But also what's really important is some substances in processed foods actually prevent your gut lining to absorb the nutrients you have. Yes, that's really, you heard right. And so whole foods are really allowing our body, our gut, to absorb all these nutrients. That leads that we eat less. That leads to, of course, having all those nutrients that improves our brain health, our anxiety, our mood and emotions, and of course lead to overall health as well. The next very important tip is to eliminate food sensitivities and intolerances. Now, a lot of people are reacting to things like gluten or dairy. When you eat those or other foods you're intolerant to and you continue eating them, you are damaging your gut health. You're damaging often the gut lining, which can, by the way, lead to leaky gut. You might actually, it's like poison, and you might also give more burden to your detoxification process, right? That affects, by the way, the liver a lot. It leads to higher inflammation response, and that can lead to more anxiety. So finding out what foods you're intolerant to is just simply, for example, by doing a journal or so and checking in regularly. How do you feel after eating certain type of foods? And of course, doing an elimination diet. And that is something I do in my 10-day reset program, or 10-day reset detox, is getting rid of toxins while eliminating those foods we are often sensitive to. And if you're interested to find more about the 10-day reset diet, please check out the link in the description, or also check out more in my blog post that is in the description. Because in the end, what is really important, what helped me to overcome my own issues, is to do a detox and get rid of those toxins and eliminate those foods you're intolerant to. And that often clears up a lot of those issues you might have in your gut and that are linked to anxiety. And the next tip is to practice stress reduction techniques, right? Very often, and I talked earlier about stress influences your gut, the response of your gut to when you eat, right? You cannot eat and absorb the foods in a healthy way when you're overstressed or when you have chronic stress. So that might lead then in itself to unhealthy gut balance, which leads to more anxiety, which leads to more stress, right? So by interrupting that cycle, I often recommend really practicing stress reduction techniques such as meditation or healthy breathing, or maybe yoga, or maybe going for a walk, or just, diving a little bit more into spiritual techniques or so. Try to find what is really working for you, and again, practice these things every day. Great. And now a really, really good tip that I like is to increase your probiotic and prebiotic consumption. Now, our gut health, and I'm sure you have heard about it, needs healthy probiotic and prebiotic food. Probiotics are usually those that give our which actually help our healthy gut bacteria to duplicate, right? So we want to have more healthy gut bacteria than unhealthy gut bacteria, and having more probiotic rich foods is helping to improve that population of the healthy gut bacteria. So you definitely want to add more probiotic rich foods, like fermented foods are really helping you with that. And of course, prebiotic rich foods are feeding those guys, the healthy guys, right? Whereas, for example, sugar and too many carbs are feeding the unhealthy guys, is that the prebiotic rich foods, such as vegetables, for example, are feeding the healthy guys, and that will make them more and more. So try to increase probiotic and prebiotic consumption. And then the next step is to find healthy balance of exercise. So you want just to have enough exercise, not too much. I see a lot of people actually, doing too much of exercise and not too little. So by implementing healthy exercise like movements, going for walks or taking the stairs, or having a good balance of some strength exercise, some cardio exercise, some anaerobic exercise, and some relaxing exercise such as yoga, is really helping you also with your gut health, right? Because in the end, that all supports your nervous system, which helps your gut, and it helps also with your anxiety. So these are my top tips for you to improve your gut health so you can become less anxious. As usual, just reading and listening to me is not something that helps, right? You need to implement those actions. So go to the description here and check out more resources, and also check out my blog post to help you to implement these. Take one of the tips I shared with you and put it in your calendar and just practice that for 1 week, and then maybe go into the next tip and so on. So remember to take action, write it down, maybe share it with a friend or so. And if you want to really do and support your healthy gut health to improve anxiety, then you definitely want to check out my 10-day reset diet. The link you can find here in the description, and also in my blog post. There's more information, and also the link to my 10-day reset diet that helps you to kickstart your gut health so you become less anxious. As always, please just a little thumbs up or subscribe to my channel so you can get notified of more videos like that. My name is Andrea Caprio, and thanks so much for being here.